And when they called me up on that, the guy from the office called me up and told me about that. First thing I said, about bloody time.
I think we are running out of time on Zoom, but I mean, I have to ask you this. When we talk about wrestlers from New Zealand, are you familiar with Dakota Kai and everything that she has been doing in WWE?
I talked to one or two guys that came over to the States for about 6 months, but the wrestling scene in New Zealand is spasmodic. You know, the company in Auckland, which is the biggest city, runs once a month, and there's a few other ones that run around the country. But there's no 7-day-a-week wrestling in New Zealand.
Okay.
Hey, Luke, I think he was specifically asking about Dakota Kai.
Oh, yes, Dakota Kai. Yes, I remember her 2012 when she was started. She was just a young girl, Dakota Kai, in Auckland, New Zealand. But she made the break and she went over to England and then she came to the United States and now she's the tag team. She's one of the tag team champions in WWF.
Absolutely, she is. John, is there maybe like a teaser of one of the stories from the book that you'd like to share with our audience, just to give them a taste of what the book is going to be all about?
Well, without going into any one particular story, I want people to know that when they pick up this book, it's not just about the humorous, funny, lovable bushwhackers. It's also about the bloody, vicious, brutal sheep herders in New Zealand Kiwis. So when you pick up this book, you're going to get all aspects of these guys. You're going to know that they were a lot more than just the funny, joking guys that you saw in the WWF. They were some of the most vicious, hardcore wrestlers that ever stepped foot in a ring. And there's really a lot in this book that I think people are going to be interested in, stories they've never heard before. As Luke and I have said before, it's sex, drugs, rock and roll, and wrestling. It's all wrapped up in one.
Amazing. Why was it important for you, Mr. Williams, to write this book?
Well, we had talked about it. Well, we had people talk to us about it for years and years. You've got to do a book about your life, because when we told them some fantastic, some stories about, I don't want to tell you the stories now, but they say, I didn't believe it. And we put all this into the book, you know what I mean? We've been told for ages and that. And my friend too, George Napolitano, the photographer, he's a good friend of mine that used to do Vince's programs, and these are all of his photos throughout the book. He was saying to me too, one day you got to put it together. And of course, he's been so busy, and John came along, and here we are. Blood, sweat, and shears. The blood and the sweat is the sheep herders and the Kiwis, and then the WWF is the cheers.
Yeah, and honestly, we're proud to be marching with a 5-star rating on Amazon so far. So people are loving the book.
Perfect. So just to wind down the interview, sir, I mean, what did going into the WWE Hall of Fame mean to you?
Say that again, sir.
What did going into the WWE Hall of Fame mean to you?
That was the highlight of my career. And when they called me up on that, the guy from the office called me up and told me about that. First thing I said, about bloody time. The media really knocked us at that time, like this Facebook, the social media. They didn't know about our past. That all those northern people saw us from 1988, two 40-year-olds in the ring as clowns or entertainers and that, and they didn't realize till we actually told them that we we'd worked with guys who sold out Madison Square Garden in the 50s and 60s, Killer Kowalski, Peter Maivia, the Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson. We worked with him all over the world. We wrestled Stu Hart. Who can say they wrestled Stu Hart? The Brett's dad. We worked with a lot of names Dominic DeNucci, Tony Puglisi, they're all gone. You know, but these were the superstars of the 60s and 70s.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and just to put things into perspective, I know that social media wasn't kind to that particular run of yours, but that was the time I discovered you guys when you came over to the WWF at the
Yes.
time. And in the 90s, you guys were huge in India, especially in
Yes.
even the comedic thing was over huge in this part of the world. So thank you for all the years of entertainment, and I really look forward to reading the book. One last time, John, I mean, if you could tell our audience where they can purchase the book.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have access to the internet, you can find the book. Again, it's The Bushwhackers, Blood, Sweat, and Cheers. You can find it on Amazon. And if you work with Amazon, you know Amazon is available worldwide. They have markets worldwide. You can find the book. You can also find it online at Barnes & Noble, online at Walmart. Just Google the title, it'll pop up. But Amazon really is our top spot. And I will mention, you talked about all the years that Butch wrestled. We were talking the other day at Butch's house, or I'm sorry, at Luke's house, 7 decades that he wrestled. So it's really been a hell of a long career for Luke. It's really amazing.
So my final question to you then, Luke, is what do you want to be remembered as? I mean, after this book goes out, what do you want your legacy to be?
The guy from next door that was willing to help everybody in the business. You know, that's one of my goals. And that I worked in the office for many promoters as the booker, booking the talent. This was before WWF, and writing television. So I've been around. I've been on both sides of the fence, behind the scenes, and in front of the and in the front. And I've helped a lot of people over the years, and that's what I want to be known for.
All right. I mean,
not the greatest scientific wrestler. That's for sure. But a great entertainer that changed from one of the bloodiest tag teams in the world to become loved by everybody.
Absolutely. No, I think we have 1 minute left on Zoom, so might as well ask this. You mentioned the booker, all the booking and everything else you did in the office. If Vince McMahon why am I saying Vince McMahon? Triple H or Tony Khan from AEW, if they pick up the phone and say, come help us out in a creative capacity, would you still be open to it?
Well, it's changed. The evolution of wrestling's changed a lot. And it's the mind. Once you start back in that, it's a 24/7 game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Luke would have to ask his wife.
It's a 24/7 game. You're thinking about the product all night at home, and you're wondering what storylines, and that I'm in the cruising years of my life, mate. I'm a weekend warrior now. I just want to just go and do a Saturday night or Sunday night show and move on. That's what I prefer to do.